Today is March 23rd. In fact, it is a day of commemoration. It is a day of remembrance. In fact, today is the day of Shaheed Diwas. That is the unfortunate day on which the British, in an unfair and hasty manner, conducted the execution of three prominent revolutionary nationalists of India, that is Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev. In fact, Bhagat Singh was just only 23 years of age on the day of his execution. In fact, if you observe this, in fact, these three nationalists were part of an organization which is called as Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. In fact, HSRA as an association is having an ideology which is an intermixture of nationalism and socialism. In fact, these two prominent ideologies are the driving spirits of Indian nationalism, wherein we wanted freedom from the British rule, and also in order to help the poorer sections of the society, socialism as an ideology created a more compassionate outlook towards Indian nationalism, and these people represented the spirit of nationalism and socialism. In fact, Bhagat Singh as a personality was completely against the principle of individual heroic action, for which he was finally executed. In fact, Bhagat Singh along with his associates established Hindustan Socialist Republican Association as a secret society, but more importantly they established Punjab Navjawan Bharat Sabha, which is an organization established in order to in fact conduct politics among the masses. In fact, the plan of these people and HSRA as an organization was to move away from individual heroic action, wherein the earlier revolutionary terrorists, majority of them were caught and were also executed by the British. They did not want to follow the same action. In fact, their plan was to bring about a mass-based violent revolution in India against the British. And if individuals are conducting heroic action, they will be targeted by the state, and this will lead to numerous problems. That is the reason why they wanted to bring about a mass-based violent revolution, for which reason they participated in the politics of India. In fact, these three people, they were part of the Simon Commission protests, and they are the people who invited Lala Lajpat Rai in order to participate in the protests. And when he participated in the protest, the Britishers deliberately conducted a lathi charge under James Scott, leading to the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. And this is the event which triggered a sense of nationalism and a sense of vengeance among these young revolutionaries. And in order to pay back to the British for killing Lala Lajpat Rai, these three revolutionaries, putting aside their earlier commitment to mass-based violent action, took up individual heroic action. Because they felt a sense of responsibility, because they are the people who invited Lala Lajpat Rai to participate in Go Back Simon protests. That is the reason why what these people did is they went for individual heroic action and killed the British police officer by the name of Saunders by shooting him. And after killing him, they established, or they in fact stuck posters all across the city of Lahore, claiming that the death of Saunders is a vengeance for the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. Then thereafter they went into hiding, and for nearly a year they went into hiding in different parts of India. And Bhagat Singh at this point of time felt that the assassination which has been conducted has led to an end to his political career, because his agenda was to bring about a mass-based violent revolution, and because he is being targeted by the police, now it is creating a lot many problems for him. Now, if you observe this, when he was in hiding, he could not participate in active politics. And in order to break this stalemate, what he has done is, even though despite of warning by majority of his associates, he along with B.K. Datta, they created two homemade bombs, went to the Central Legislative Assembly, and from the viewers gallery, they threw the bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly as two anti-socialist bills called the Public Safety Bill and Trade Disputes Bill are being discussed in the Central Legislative Assembly. They threw the bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly, and they made the bombs deliberately non-lethal. It means that they were not supposed to kill any person. They in fact are meant to make the deaf hear. primarily because they felt that this should not lead to any assassination, but it should capture the attention of the nation. That is the reason why they threw the bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly. And after throwing the bombs, they made no attempt to escape. In fact, they started taking up slogans called 𝐃𝐞𝐚𝐫𝐧𝐢𝐧𝐠 and finally they permitted themselves to be arrested. And after being arrested, the old cases on Bhagat Singh, they have come out. That is the murder of Saunders case, and he was prosecuted for the same. And what he did is, he converted the court trial. Okay, in court he was being prosecuted. He converted the court trial into an agency of propaganda, and in fact promoted his ideology, his thought process to the people all across the country. And the favorable press of Punjab at that point of time covered every day of the court proceedings, and the speeches of Bhagat Singh, they became inspirational for the youth across the country. And when he was present in prison also, what he did is, he went on a hunger strike along with Jatin Das in order to register his protest against the British government, which is treating these people as common criminals. And he wanted treatment of political prisoners, primarily because his action is not a crime, but his action is a political action. That is the reason why he wanted the treatment of a political prisoner, and he in fact had to face numerous indignities, forced feeding, but his commitment to hunger strike, it was intact. In fact, because of the hunger strike, Jatin Das, his associate, finally he died in prison because of the hunger strike. Then later, Britishers, what they did is, they felt that if Bhagat Singh is alive for more days, the sense of nationalism and revolutionary nationalism in particular will become more in the Indian population. And what they did is, they fast-tracked his case and they gave death penalty to these three people for participation in the murder of Saunders. And finally, on the fateful day of March 23rd, they were executed and they were cremated on the river banks of the Satluj River. But what we need to remember Shaheed-e-Azam Bhagat Singh for is for his excellent qualities of courage. Even though the odds are against him, he always stood for what is right. Then the second greatest quality of this person is, in fact, perseverance. In fact, he never, fumbled from his commitment. Despite of heavy odds, he always stood with his commitments, leading to ultimately his death. And apart from perseverance, Bhagat Singh is also known for his great intellect. In fact, he was a voracious reader, and always his coat pockets used to bulge because of the presence of books. And because of his wide reading, he was able to, in fact, get attracted towards the ideas of socialism and nationalism, and that led to his actions. So this is the third quality of a great personality. And the fourth is, despite of his young age, he showed tremendous maturity. And this maturity is something which is needed for the youth of today. That is the reason why let us spend this day thinking about Bhagat Singh, his great contribution, his commitment, his ideas, and his selfless service to the nation is something that we need to remember, and we should take inspiration from the same. Thank you.
కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి, ప్రత్యేకంగా సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ఏ ఆప్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ బుక్స్ రిఫర్ చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి డౌట్స్ ఉంటే CSBIS అకాడమీని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. దీనికి సంబంధించి నా పర్సనల్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఈ వీడియో పైన డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్న కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు.